What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com, and welcome back to my continuing coverage of the 2018 Dallas International Film Festival. I'm going to be watching a bunch of movies for you guys. I'm going to be throwing the reviews at you left and right, so catch whatever ones you want to watch. But yes, this is the 7th film that I've seen at the festival, and this is another documentary, Sammy Davis Jr., I've Gotta Be Me, and this is basically about Sammy Davis Jr. And me being born in 1990, literally 5 months before the man passed away, I have no knowledge of the man. I never grew up with him. So going into this, I was excited to learn stuff that I never knew about him and some of the kind of extra things that he did, because this is a guy that did a lot in his short life, where he went from being an entertainer, whether it be tap dancing or doing impressions, singing, acting, to maturing as a person and going into more of an activism stage where he would hang out with Martin Luther King Jr. and doing some weird stuff with President Nixon. So he was a complicated man. He did a lot of stuff, and I just really wanted to see a documentary that focused on him, showing everything that he has done in his life all the way up to his passing. So basically a cradle to the grave type of documentary, and I did get that. And to be quite frank with you, I like this one. It's not like some extravagant documentary that I'm going to be like, oh, this is one of the best of all time. But I think if you are a Sammy Davis Jr. fan, or if you have never even heard of him, this is a great documentary to kind of show you what this man was like, even with some of the flaws that he had. I think it's a great showcase of his life. As far as, so let's get real and break this down. As far as like negatives go, I really don't have any. I guess a nitpick would be that the documentary is sectioned off into more of like an episodic type of documentary, where they would literally have the sections pointed out, where whether they be talking about his tap dancing or his activism or his car accident. Like, they did have it sectioned off, and it did feel a little TV like. It didn't really feel cinematic, and it was produced by PBS, so that makes a whole lot of sense. It's probably going to air on there shortly, but yeah, I would say that would be the only negative, to be honest with you. But that's just more of a nitpick. But to get into some of the positives, though, I like the editing style of this documentary versus other documentaries I've seen at the festival so far. It's very flashy, it's very poppy, and it matches the kind of eccentric personality of Sammy Davis Jr. with this kind of like really flashy editing, and I really enjoyed that. They got the right archive footage, and it matches with, like I said, this flashy type of editing. It was really well done and really well-paced documentary, because if there's one thing in a documentary I hate, it's the pacing of it, because some of them can seem super slow and really boring, but you have to rely on the editing in a documentary to pizzazz it up, to make your audience interested in your subject matter, even if it's something as boring as a documentary on making paper. You have to make it somewhat exciting to watch, and I think since this man was larger than life itself, it has the actual editing style to match his personality, so I found that pretty well done. Another positive I like is the things I didn't know about him, and the things that they kept throwing at us as surprises, where I didn't know he did impressions. I didn't know that he would back President Nixon in the Vietnam War. I didn't know about him being in the front lines of Selma with Martin Luther King Jr. I didn't know about some of the songs he wrote. So me, as a person born in the 90s, having no knowledge of the man like the hardcore fans are, it was nice and refreshing to kind of see everything about him, whether it be how he was a entertainer and a very just wholesome human being, to some of the dark stuff that he had to deal with. He was a complicated person. He was not just this pure little angel that was portrayed on screen. There was a lot of things that he would battle outside of being in front of cameras or in front of audiences, and those are the types of documentaries that I like the best, because I don't want to see a documentary that just praises a person and doesn't have any reality to it, because that's not real. A real documentary about a real person, especially as a legend as this man, you have to show flaws. And this was a guy who did have a drug problem and a drinking problem, and wasn't really faithful in his marriage. Or he might have like some financial woes and was spending his money like crazy. Like, he had problems. But I think the main takeaway you can take from this documentary is that this was a human being. He was flawed. He also had some good parts about him. But I think for the most part, this documentary depicts him as one of the best entertainers and one of the most unique people of all time. And I think this documentary did that quite well. It's not one of my favorites. It's not one of my least favorites. It's a solid look into this man's life if you have either known him for many decades or if you have not known him for many decades. So I'm going to give Sammy Davis Jr., I've Got to Be Me, a solid B. There you go. I would recommend it, especially if you are curious about it. And if you like music. I think the music selection in this is really well done as well. So B for that one. So let me know down below what you think of it. So yeah, I'm Chase Lee, reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, and I guess come on back for my continuing coverage of the 2018 Dallas International Film Festival. I will see you guys later.